Hey guys, Sunstreaker Wozza here. Welcome back to another Thursday stream where, yes, we're covering everything Transformers Earth Wars as always. So, apologies. I'm a bit sort of bunged up today, guys. Got a bit of a cold, sadly. I was debating not streaming today, but I thought I missed last week. I can't miss another week. I thought I've got to do it. Got to go at it. So, yes, we are streaming this week. We're here, but sadly I'm a bit ill, so apologies, guys. So I just need to mute something. I'm getting a bit of a something back in my headphones. I'm gonna tip my headphones out. There we go, so I can't hear that. Cool. So today's stream. So we're gonna take another look at the G1 cores. I have had a few changes to them, a few little buffs, you could say. Generally down to sort of playtest feedback. So we're talking a bit about those as well, going over them again. We're talking about some old bots that are getting a bit of a rework, bit of a buff. We're talking a bit about that as well. We're going to be taking a bit of a look at the new bots coming to the game. We'll be announcing them soon. If you've not seen my short already, I did kind of announce it, today. We're taking a sort of a peek at them today as well and announcing them. I'm also talking about sort of my situation in the game as well currently. I think a few people in the chat are aware of it. I think a few people aren't. We're talking a bit about that as well and the reasons for it. Cool. But yeah, that's everything in today's stream. So let's see who we've got in the chat. So, apologies I missed anyone out from very earlier today. So, I have been sort of announcing the stream earlier for people to sort of, be able to bookmark it for later on so they don't miss it. I've been doing a bit of that. Because I know some people said they've not been getting notifications, things like that. Or we're getting notifications an hour into the stream. So, I've been setting up a lot earlier. So, apologies, guys. But that's just so people get notifications and things like that. But who have we got? So we've got Tony B, we've got Chip Cox, we've got Mercenary Terror, D-Deck 76, we've E Eros, Jason Rowley, and Lord Avix as well. We've got Chris Harmon, Penny Lancaster, two of my members, big shout out to you guys. We've got Ronald Van Holland, we've got, who else have we got? A lot of talk about the new bots and a bit of confusion as well, I think. Carnage Mac alright as well. We have got... Who else have we got? Let's have a look. Scrolling. We've got my brother Grindtime as well. Good to see you, bud. We've got Michael Cooper. We've got Candyman as well. Another of my members. Thank you for being a member, buddy. We've also got Hellraiser, Smoked Cheese, one of my fellow hard buddies. We've got Dark Rodimus, we've got Dave Lawrence, we've got Peen, is that right? Pian? Thanks for joining me. We've got Ravcore67, I'm alright, buddy, I'm alright, I'm good. We've got Action Whale, we've got Stanley Michael Teng, and we've got Cyber Inferno, one of the mind members as well. Good to see you, buddy. Peen Spot, Peen! Listen, shouting it doesn't make a difference. Is it Peen or Pian? Peen! Okay. Cool. Okay, guys, let's fly into the newsletter, and then we can go from there, can't we? So, Bar Week Banana, Week Ninny Bong. This week's event is Stolen Thunder. 10k event open-ended, I believe. And it's got some premium shards, some power chips, some 4-star shards, as always, and some prime core shards. So you will need these guys, whether it's to get defense cores or friends prime cores. But yeah, really, really good event. Easy 10k event for these prime core shards, which we've complained about in the past. I just said this, and these prime core shards are essential. And so, putting them at a massive high event finishing points is not really fair. So good to see a 10k event with these in. Normal battle zones apply, and then game updates and information. So obviously the G1 cores, which we're going to cover soon, but my good friend Tex has covered those. But they have said there's going to be some super value bundles with some G1 power core chips, crystals, and shards. And the 4-star duplicates from these bots drop their G Metal or Gold G1 Power Core, which they do anyway. So I'm not too sure why that is super value, because that's the case in every single one. So anyway, but yeah, we've got Brainstorm, we've got Impactor, we've got Red Alert, we've got Slash, we've got Snarl, and we have Windblade. We'll take a look at them shortly. The new Battle Pass is out with the new skins, pretty cool skins, and Ghost Starscream is pretty cool in time for Halloween. Ghost Alpha Trion, yeah, it's alright. I don't really use Alpha Trion in any star ratings, so not really got him, but it's still pretty cool skins, and I like the fact that this time round they've actually made a plan for Halloween and brought something out that's relevant. So yeah, pretty cool. Then obviously go and check out your content creators as always. I always check out Freezer's Maximus's stream, normally in the morning when I drive to work on a Thursday. So yeah, go and check those guys out, guys. And it is week 6 of the saga. We've got a Halloween special, nice and easy next week, and then we've got the endurance event for the new 5-star bot. And people have been asking me, what's a 5-star bot do? I'm going to take a look at it today, but there is still some balancing going on, and going pretty well. I think it's going pretty well. It's gone from underpowered to overpowered to still overpowered to underpowered to probably where it needs to be right now. But I don't think it's quite finished. I think there's a couple of bugs with it as well. But I said playtest to sort of finish off regardless. I mean, community corner, couple of cool drawings, and a Grand Galvatron with the stitching, pretty cool. And then bug fixes and improvements. So, Liège Maximo. Fix an issue with Liège, it's looking walls. I don't get that. I'm gonna sneeze, apologies. Oh, excuse me. I don't understand that. Well, they're talking, this is what frustrates me. They're talking like Liège is a bot. Do they mean they fixed an issue with bots equipped with Liège getting stuck on walls? Because I've not experienced that at all. They mentioned last week about pipes and Liège or something. There wasn't a problem at all, from what I could see. So I'm a bit lost. Chromium and Fellbat currently being investigated. Not sure what that is. Someone let me know in the chat. A bit baffled by that. First Aid Reflector currently being investigated. So it doesn't help that currently being investigated. What's the issue? What's the problem? Are they totally unplayable? It's a bit strange one. Blur is also being looked at right now. From what we can see, keeps wandering from the squad. This will be investigated. That's fine. They've told you what's happening, so you can make allowance for it. So quite frustrating. But Dale has said he's actually in Helsinki to meet with Supercell. So we'll see what Dale comes back with from there. But yeah. And then the next team stream will be on Thursday, the 2nd of November. So obviously the last one they cancelled completely, which is a bit strange. But I think they wanted to just cancel it rather than push it back and then change the schedule of all the other streams. So Thursday the 2nd of November is the next stream. So let's have a look what everyone's saying in the chat. And just, to sort of soothe my flu, I'm drinking a cup of tea. I am living up the stereotype of the British person. No, I've got no crumpets, but I do have a cup of tea. Let's see what everyone is saying. Let's have a look. Guys, Mac, you guys talking in chat for 4 hours ago. Time to wake up. Yeah, they're probably in bed by now. Chris Harmon, hey, if new G1 cores are out today, why no bundles yet in store? Because the bundles come out on Friday, don't they? They could have pushed them today, I suppose, but they also come out on Friday. But it's not the end of the world. I suppose if you've got G1 cores to open, you can open them and give it a try. But I'm personally saving mine. And we'll talk about that as well. Of course, I wonder what these new bots will do. We'll cover a bit today. Don't worry. That makes sense. So, Peen is put like Dean, but with a P. So there, Peen. There we go. Thanks. And grind time. Hey, I'm a fellow Horde member now too. I know. Well, yeah. I know. Cyberfern, I love the vague. We are looking at something. I know. What else? Liege last week was causing the bot not to attack anything, just walk. Well, there you go. They could just put that, couldn't they? Make it nice and easy. I haven't fixed Blaster yet, and nothing in the newsletter. Box dot apply to the spot anymore. Yeah, I've heard that as well. Yeah. Yeah, quite a few bugs right now. There is, I presume. So, anyway, let's go into the game and look at these G1 cores. Okay, so let's have a look at these G1 cores. So, we did cover brainstorms in the last video, and I did say that it's getting a buff. So I'm quite disappointed though that it's not exactly what I kind of asked for. So I think I'm not don't want to get sort of big headed, but a lot of the sort of changes that I sort of asked for have come in these G1 cores, but not to the extent that I would have liked really. So to give you an example, so Brainstorm's G1 increases special ability damage by 27.5% and provides 66% protection from laser turrets and beam lasers. So this was lower than an EO core to begin with, and I sort of said in playtest to the, developers, to the apes, I said, listen, no one is going to chase a G1 core unless it really gives them an advantage. And I said that, if it doesn't provide the same damage in the EO core, that's a deal breaker. Straight away, I'm not bothering with it. And I'm sure plenty of people out there have got G1 cores that act like an EO core but give less damage, and it's not really being touched. And I said that this provides 66% protection from laser turrets. Laser turrets are probably the worst defense in the game right now. Or the lesser defense. No one looks at a base and even considers laser turrets. Maybe if they're anti-air to a degree, but no one does. They're a space filler, and they could probably do a bit of buff or something happening to them, or a new core or something as part of the new HQ18 phase. If I'm honest with you, because you have the beam lasers with Cybertron charge, so obviously really damaging. You've obviously got the MDS. You've got really good attachments. You've got the mortars with the Incendiary is alright, but Target Protocol is the core of choice because obviously it increases the range and targets gunners and healers, so really good core for that. You've got the missile launchers with the I can't remember the name, but the direct missiles rather than the core. So they've all got good cores and quite considerable when you're attacking. But laser turrets are nothing much. And then beam lasers, I said, beam lasers are massive. And beam lasers, if they hit your bots, they're in danger. Even with 66% protection, if my gunners were getting hit by a beam laser, I would be worried even at 66% protection. So the protection part from laser turrets and beam lasers is here and there. So the main reason I'm going for this G1 is for the special ability damage. Now, at 27.5% is 1% more than an EO core. Now, am I going to chase Brainstorm's G1 and level it up to max for 1% and protection from laser turrets and beam lasers? No, I'm not really. If that was like 5%, if it gave 30% extra damage, then yeah, I'd probably go for this. But 27.5%, it's alright. I presume it might be good for newer players that don't have EO cores, but I've got it's not my main account, but I've got quite a few EO cores leveled up, so it's not a core that I'm really going to chase. Is it a good core? Yeah, compared to other air class cores that aren't as good. Yeah. Would I chase it? Not if I've got an EO core for Brainstorm ready. So, a bit on the fence with that one. I wouldn't say it's a bad core, I wouldn't say it's a good core. And then next up, we've got Impactor. So, we did look at Impactor's core again last time, and they've increased the quick blast attack to 4 times the DPS. But even with the 4 times the DPS, it's not really that much considerable amount of damage. So it does more than Amalgamous, 15.5% up to 19.3%. So that's a nice increase, probably G1 core. But from talking to other people about Impactor, he really needs that healing that he gets from Amalgamous. He desperately needs that. And I just think the quick blast wasn't ideal, really. I would have rather given some sort of healing. I did say that in playtest, but they went from rather than... When I said that the quick blast doesn't add much in terms of damage, I actually meant to get rid of it and change it, but they've increased it from 3 times DPS to 4. Again, an extra 1k damage is not that considerable, really, if that. So, not the best. It's good for his ability damage, but is it better than Malgamus? I'll let you guys decide. But I'm not really convinced that it is. Next up, we've got Red Alert and Run Amok. So, Red Alert, Run Amok there, G1 core, 15% to bot's health. Every 12 seconds, create a protective shield that blocks 40% damage. So, obviously, this is negated by FFD, but I think pretty sure that all Red Alerts and Run Amok's ability does anyway, so it's irrelevant regardless. You know, if it's going to affect his ability, it's going to affect this. But I like it. It's added health to him, makes him a bit more tanky. And I like the shields, give him a bit more survivability. So, yeah, decent core. Again, I don't think like this. Wow, I need to get this core. But if I pulled it, I would definitely level it, and I would definitely stick it on Red Alert. So, yeah, a pretty decent core. Then we've got Slash and Ripper Snapper. So 15% of bot's health and turns the bot invisible for 7 seconds every 15 seconds. So for half of the time, she's invisible. And the bot also deals 1.5 more damage when invisible. And the problem with Slash is the pathing and lack of health. So it gives 15% health, but let's be honest, 29k health with that 15% is not really that considerable, really. 30k health in today's sort of game is not that considerable. So I think it's really good on defense. I think turning the bot invisible for 7 seconds out of 15 would be really, really good on defense. So I think if you have Slash in an outpost, this would be quite considerable. I'm actually considering getting this core, maxing it out, and putting Slash in an outpost. So yeah, very good if you're going to use Slash on defense. If you're going to use it on attack, I don't think this has made her relevant in wars or anything like that. Maybe a bit better for relevant, but it's still the same as Megatronus in terms of damage, pretty much. So Megatronus gives you 45% extra damage to targets in melee range, but that's kind of in an area, it's kind of around the bot. Whereas this one just gives you 1.5, which is like 150%, so very similar to the target to damage that you're targeting, so one target. So it's actually less damage with the G1 than Megatronus gives. So less damage than Megatronus, a bit more health, but it does turn the bot invisible. Increases the survivability, I suppose. So not a bad core, Slashers. I'm not over the moon with it, but it's not too bad. Then we come to Snarl. And the conversation of Snarl was pretty much that this bot is pretty much dead and buried. The big problem with Snarl is that you can give it whatever, but it doesn't survive. It just dies because of these sort of melee bots, which we'll talk about again shortly. And I've got a sort of solution for that. But it increased accessibility damage by 20%, which is again more than the Amalgamous, so that's pretty good. But adds a new long-range fireball attack, dealing triple DPS. So they have sort of increased the AoE of this, I believe. But it's still not considerable enough to make Snarl relevant. Even with ability 11 now, even with the G1 core, Snarl's pretty much got everything that he can get within reason. And short of a rework, I can't see Snarl becoming a war bot at the top level of the game anytime soon. Was very good back in the HQ16 days, did a lot of damage very quickly, but in today's meta in the top, just dies because of melee bot and doesn't have any protection. Then we've got Windblade. So Windblades, so I did say that all the attacks healed you for 4%, I think it was, or 3%. I just said that's definitely not enough. It needs to be a lot more. So they've increased that to 12%. So when we look at the stats now, it's 12% of damage done. So when she does about 10k damage, that's about 1,200 health she will gain back. But it's still not enough. Me, I would honestly make that like 30%. I really would. And the reason for that is that when you send Windblade in, she's then becoming the focus of all that attack. And yes, she gets a shield, but what is an FFD? That negates that shield. But let's just even say there's no FFD. You'll send it in, it blocks 8% of damage. That's brilliant. For 5 seconds. That's not a lot. 5 seconds is not a lot. She's great at taking one target out, but she's not very good at surviving after that. And so for 5 seconds she's great, but after that she's going to really struggle. And so she needs that sort of jump in health. And 12%, 1,200 is, you know, like, what? It's not even 10%. It's like 5% health. So it's not really that considerable. Yes, she does damage around per second, but it's only 456. So maybe 2k healing, but it's not a lot, is the point I'm making. So, although it's decent, again, it's not one that I would really chase, if I'm honest. Windblade user, maybe. Is Amalgamous better? And this is the problem you see, is that Amalgamous is sort of generic for a lot of bots. Because it does damage and healing, it's very good on a lot of bots. And so that's what we need to rival with. And also I did my video of G1 versus Prime Cores and which should be. And I think most people, the resounding answer was that Prime Cores should be more powerful than the G1 cores. But the problem is that as these G1 cores progress with the game, the Prime Cores, don't forget, came out, what, 5-6 years ago, maybe something like that. And yes, they've opened up to level 20 to give them a bit of a, you know, edge. But they are very, very old content. And I just think it's a matter of time before they start being overtaken a bit. Maybe. And yeah, whether that's right or wrong, I don't think it's a case of a question of that. I think it's a case of just natural progression of the game, unless they start to buff Prime Core, which I don't think they will, because the game's sort of balanced around that. Who knows? But yeah, in terms of these G1 cores, I just don't think they quite... I don't think they address some of the bot's downfalls. And Space Ape have said in the past that these G1 cores are not designed to do that, which is fine. But I believe that these G1 cores sometimes can give a bot a second lease of life. And I have said that I don't agree with the new bots that come out from Endurance having ability 11 and having a G1 core on release. Because the problem is then you'll balance it around that. You're balancing the bot around having a G1 core and ability 11 maxed out. And there's no real way to go after that. If that bot becomes irrelevant in another year's time, there's no place to go. It should come out as the G1 core ability 11 would at ability 10. That's what I believe in ability 11. And G1 can come later to make it a bit more relevant and give us something to chase back then. Because you got to think, once they release every bot as a 5-star and the game keeps going and going as it is, they will at some point, they'll run out of ability 11, run out of G1s. You know, because all the new bots will have ability 11 and G1s. And if you actually look, there's not too many bots left that don't have ability 11 and G1s. Not as many as you think. So although I don't think they're running out of ideas and things like that, I just think there's no improvement. And I think that these were the chance to do that. Has Brainstorm's G1 made him so relevant that people are going to chase him? I think they're going to chase him without it. So I don't think that has it changed anything. Impactor's G1, is it going to make people chase that and chase Impactor for that G1? I don't think so. Red Alert, Slash, now Windblade, all of them, I don't think that if I pulled the G1 of one of those bots, I'll be like, you know what? I'm now going to chase the 5-star. Not like Rhinox's core. When Rhinox's G1 come out, it was a game changer. And people were like, I need that core. And if you pulled that core, you're like, oh, I might actually go and get Rhinox now. So, you know, I think these G1s and these ability levels need to be game changers for the bots. Maybe they shouldn't be as good as the Prime cores. I get that. Maybe it should be a bit different and add something different to the bots. I don't know, but we're talking about answers to these bots, especially like Snarl. And it was quite funny, so we said, you know, someone said, what about a shield? And I was like, well, we can't keep giving these bots shields. We can't do that. And that's where I sort of go on to my next topic of melee bots. So we're talking about Snarl, and we're talking about Star Saber, and bots like that, and bots that struggle. And so Ultimate Optimus is a very good example of this. So he doesn't have a shield. He doesn't have any healing. So what makes him particularly different than the rest? High damage. And so for me, if you gave Snarl that huge amount of damage, but lacking survivability, I kind of get with that. And for me, that's where these sort of melee bots need to go. They need to have a huge amount of damage, a massive impact. And so I see that of using, say, Snarl covered with tracks, so doing crazy amount of damage and that speed up covered in tracks. But if you try that right now in the game, it doesn't work effectively. It takes Snarl too long to get through these defenses. And so I would honestly give these bots like something crazy, like 10k damage a second or over the time, 20k damage, something like that, absolutely crazy damage to get through a base faster, because they're gonna die very quickly if not, and we can't keep giving these bots shields. So let's look at the melee bots, give them crazy amount of damage, forget shields for now, crazy amount of damage. You know, we look at Slash's damage and it is really good damage, don't get me wrong, but it still needs to go upper level because survivability's not there. Even the healing, they just die anyway, even with the healing. So I'm sort of campaigning now to give all these melee bots a huge damage buff, and I think that will be the answer. I think that's the playoff. Because again, to repeat, we can't keep giving these bots shields. That seems to be the answer now. Let's give a bot a shield. That's what happened to Starsaber. And yes, it made him relevant, but he should have had a lot more damage, let's be honest. And I think the worry was lower levels, maybe. But I think it's worked with Optimal Optimus. Again, 10k damage in an area is a crazy amount of damage, and it made him kind of desirable. So why not give Snarl that 10k damage in an area? You know? Huge difference between the two, between Optimal Optimus and Snarl. Absolutely huge. And that's where we need to sort of set the benchmark for these melee bots. And I'm hoping that can come. And then sort of leading on to the next subject is Space Ape are currently looking at a number of bots and trying to give them buffs. And if I'm perfectly honest, I wasn't too happy with these buffs. And it wasn't the buffs they were giving them. It was kind of what the playtesters were asking for. It was kind of the bots that were chosen and the decision being made. And so the 5 bots that are currently being looked at in playtest, I won't go through the changes too much yet, but I'll talk about some of the suggestions. It was a Grimlock, which I think is well overdue. I think that's a brilliant choice. Trailbreaker, which, yeah, probably needs a buff, probably needs a bit of a change. Skydive, Nose Cone, and Slash. So, when this got announced, I was not happy to say the least. This actually spurred me on to consider simply just leaving the game, if I'm deadly honest with you. I currently left my alliance. I'm currently not in an alliance. And this was kind of the cause of it, was kind of playtest, I'm honest with you. Because with Grimlock, the suggestions were, let's make him like Pipes, but more damage. And I was just like, oh my god, like, Pipes is probably the most OP. In fact, no. Pipes is the most OP bot in the game right now. And there's very little counters, just the FFD. But the general consensus seems to be, take out the FFD and use Pipes. You'll win. And that's pretty much it. Honestly, guys, go watch my video about Pipes being indestructible along with Headstrong. And you'll see that it's quite easy. And it's kind of got to the point where you desperately need Pipes if you're warring at the top levels. And I'm okay with that. You will get OP bots, but you do need some sort of counter. I don't want to see any kind of nerf, but I would like some outpost pots that make him, you know, consider, you have to consider and think, well, I can't pop that outpost with Pipes. Because at the minute, you can literally pop Twin Twist or Quellagon. You can take damage from that. You can take damage from a Combiner. You can take damage from Beam Lasers and MDS and everything else. But Pipes just survives it, which is not natural for any bot in this game. And I'm kind of not fine with it, but I kind of accept that. I don't want to see a nerf. So we need some sort of counter to that. And the last thing I want to see is another bot come out that does more damage than that. I know some people in chat going, oh, that'd be crazy if Grimlock did that. It would be, honestly be game breaking, guys. Game breaking. And it sort of killed me that playtesters are even asking for that. And I think it was a bit crazy. And then we go to Trailbreaker. I think an easy solution was to extend the shield, make it a bit bigger. And I think that was really, really good. Is Trailbreaker one of the worst bots in the game? I don't think so. I think there's a lot more bots that definitely needed a buff or a change over Trailbreaker. And my idea was to do the first 2 batches of the 5 stars. Because people will pull a 4-star and not really use it at the mid to top levels. Everyone wants them 5-star bots. And I'm sure literally every single person in this chat has a 5-star bot that they don't use and haven't leveled and left to rot. I've got I've got Beast Wars Optimus, sat at a low level. I've got Bronze sat at a low level. Quite a few bots anyway. And my idea was to buff the first 2 batches of 5 stars. You're talking Drift, you're talking Grimlock, maybe Gnaw even to a degree, just maybe it's HP, without putting that into the Sharks. I think the Sharks are very good, but Gnaw himself, because the melee bot, dies very easily. So it's more of a HP change for Gnaw, in my opinion. Keeping the Sharks as they were. So putting the HP of Gnaw up and reducing the percentage of his health into the Sharks down. Maybe to equal Blaster or get close to that. And the likes of Drift, it was simply just, let's give him a, I think it was a ability 11, was it, for Drift? There's some easy fixes, some very easy fixes for a lot of bots. And I just think that they chose some big projects, first off. And I sort of said to Dale that Dale's sort of learning this process and getting to grips with it. And I think there could have been some bots that had a very easy fix. A HP increase, a damage increase, a reduced cost decrease, an initial cost decrease. Some very easy fixes, not class change or anything like that. Just some easy fixes that could have been done, sent out, very, very easy. But they decided not to do that. And so they went with Grimlock, like I said, Trailbreaker and Skydive. And people saying in the chat, like, oh, reduce Skydive's cost. I was like, he does the most damage in the game. And the apes even came back and went, no, he doesn't. I was like, yes, he does. Yes, he does. Outside of SG Jetfire, yes, he does. Does a lot more damage than Jetfire. And I don't understand that we've got Skydive, who has Acid. Yes, it's damage over time, but he now blocks healing. Why would we give it a cost decrease? And that was the initial sort of, what they wanted to do. I think they've gone away from that now and they're not giving that sort of cost decrease. Because I was like, that makes no sense at all. Because we had this Silverbolt, that Silverbolt was the same cost as Jetfire, with obviously more range, more damage. And the sort of question we sort of asked ourselves was, why would you ever go for Jetfire if they're both the same cost and everything Silverbolt does is better than Jetfire? So that's where the cost change for Silverbolt came many years ago, before the anti-EMP core, which obviously reduces effectiveness. But that was the sort of idea behind it. There should always be a balance of, if a bot does more damage, then it should be more of a cost. If it has more range, it should have more of a cost. That cost of that damage increase should be at a cost, which is usually ability points. And that's why I've sort of said the likes of Dust Up and a massive cost reduction, in my opinion, because you don't get much out of it for its cost. And then Dale was talking about Nose Cone, and this is going to be a huge project, absolutely massive, to change Nose Cone. And some of the ideas were just like massively OP. Some of the ideas were nothing different than what it currently does. And I was like, why are we spending so much time working on this bot? When, yes, it's probably the worst bot in the game. I agree with that. And yes, it does need some time. But this is time for someone that's been there and done it maybe, and worked on a few bots and kind of, is, sufficient in knowing exactly what they're going to do. Not a sort of project for someone that's learning, that's going to take them probably months to do, I'm honest with you. And from what I saw from Nose Cone, I was just like, this is not making it that much better, really. And I was quite disappointed. And then the last bot they're looking at was Slash. And there was talk of maybe giving Slash a range increase. And I was like, well, why didn't you just do this with the G1 core? We've literally just balanced the G1 core. And I also said that the damage increase is not much difference. The Megatronus, the invisibility isn't really going to help survive that much because it's melee. the range increase could have been massive. I don't mean massive as in like how big it is, but I mean massive as in like how important it was for Slash. And that's what I mean about giving bots. We've already got Megatronus. We don't need extra damage for Slash when we've got Megatronus that's perfect for her. But that range increase should have been brilliant for the G1 core. Why go to the... Why bring a G1 core out and think to yourself, alright, we've got this G1 core, but this bot needs more? Surely, it's like both parts are talking to each other. The person that makes the G1 core and Dale are not talking to each other, going, well, actually, we're already working on this bot. Why not kill two birds with one stone and just do this? So when you've got, you know, sort of playtesters giving maybe unrealistic things for Grimlock, and then you've got Skydive who doesn't need a buff, and you've got Nullcoin who needs so much work, it's ridiculous, and you've got Slash who have already just worked on. For me, playtest was literally just in tatters. It was all over the show. One thing, not knowing what they're doing, not really knowing the bots in terms of Space Ape and what they should be doing or how good they are. And Dale said that he looked at some of the bottom bots, and those are the 5 he sort of came up with. And I don't think they're 5 of the worst bots in the game by any means. There's a lot worse bots than those. When you talk about, you know, Jetfire Sky Striker, when you talk about yes, Nose Cone, you know, when you talk about bots like that, there's with Optimus Primal, you know, really Hound Vamp, really poor bot. Who else? I mean, poor Hopper's had about 5 buffs and still isn't there. I mean, when you talk about who else? Snarl, like I said, but we've literally just gone through Snarl. Even Cheetah needs a bit of a buff. Streetwise, you know, Frieza's Maximus covered these sort of bots in his channel, and I covered them a while ago. It's so poor. And then even you got the likes of Braun, which is a recent release, who's not very good at all. SG Goldbug, and it's just so many bots that could do with a rework of some kind better than these 5, and I'm not too sure why they picked these 5. Grimlock I'm happy about. Slash personally I'm happy about, but I just think it's a waste of time when we could have done this a few weeks ago. So right now I'm sort of in a bit of a hiatus from the game and taking a bit of a break from wars and things like that. And I'm sort of logging in, doing a few medal raids. But right now, the sort of where playtest is going and the apes' decisions, it's not even the game. It kind of is as well, but it's just the decisions that they're making. It's crazy, and we've been crying out for some new, fresh content for a long time. The war rework has been coming for a year. And so for me, if that's been coming for a year, this war rework, it's not high on their priorities. When you've got Alliance HQ that's, in my opinion, has failed. Titans, when a new Titan comes out, why bother? It's a bit just like bait and switch basically, and bringing out a new Titan. Titans replace old Titans, bots replace old bots, combats replace old bots. There's just a lack of initiative and lack of insight and lack of really trying to push boundaries and think of new things for bots. That's my biggest criticism of Space Ape, is that there's no planning ahead. And I just think that there needs to be something new come to this game very quickly, because they're losing a lot of players at the top levels, because they're just sort of bored of doing the same thing over and over again. And I'm sure there's some things that they could do, some things in the works, but is it another year before they're going to do this? I hope not. I really do. But it is good looking at old content. It is good looking at old bots. I'm really pleased about that. But it's 3 years too late, maybe. And these things should be coming out thick and fast now for me. Very thick and fast. Very small changes. Very quick changes. But I think this is going to be a bit of one of those in the works. It's going to take quite a while to get done. But hope we can make some bots relevant again, whether I agree with them or not. I'm sure some people in there that have got these bots and are thinking, yeah, can't wait to see these bots. And yeah, good luck, and I hope they do them justice, and I hope they do well with them. I really do. Let's have a look. Oh, cell phone signal. I have worked out something for that. I need to buy something off Amazon actually. So it's something for that. It is good tea, grind time. It's good tea. What else? Ball Titan. It's It's a test account. It's not my actual account. Um, Dave Lawrence, I would pay attention to a trash can if it had a Prime code in it. What else? Red alert on defense. G1 or Vector. Interesting. Well, you know what, though? I like that it gives you those sort of choices. Because you can use Vector on another bot then. So you can use as G1 and Vector on another bot. So gives you some more choice. You know, if it's good for that bot, then you can still use Vector. You know, I think both give you something different. I think Vector gives you a lot more hops of HP. But it's it's a good change, isn't it? Actually, I thought power cores weren't affected by FFD. I think shields are in general. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure they do. What else? Penny Lancaster, why even bother with a G1 for now when bots like C-Spray are relevant? I've been waiting for a G1. Yeah, but you got to think that if they bring a G1 out for C-Spray right now, it's not going to be that good. It'll just be a VM basically, so why bother? He's very, very OP. What else? David Janky, how's it going, brother? Good to see you. What else? I think Math Core's talking about Windblade, especially Slash maybe. Especially ability damage is increased as well. No, it's a DPS increase. I don't, but even then, it's not. She just runs out of ability points. She's too expensive, I think. Oh yeah, action miles availability is good when shield's actually 40% instead of 80%. Yeah. Candyman Prime Cores level 25, maybe. But imagine how many cores that's gonna take. Jesus. Oh. Jamie Carpenter, how's it going? Always good, other than being full of the flu. But other than that, so good. Thanks, Jamie Carpenter, about the content. Appreciate it, brother. Yeah, Iron Bison. Oh my god, how bad is Iron Bison and Lightspeed? That is one bot that needs something. Definitely. It must just cost decrease something. Just give it something. Yeah, Action Miles, but Hunger was one of my favourite bots when I first started. It's so sad seeing him now. Yeah, so bad. Tony B, yes, fix Grim. Yeah, I think Grim's one of the decent choice that they made. I do. Tony B, Grim is just too squishy. His damage is fine. Just give dude more health. Easy peasy. Yeah, it's just that obviously the problem is that the balance between damage and health it's like a graph like that. So as health decreases, damage decreases. So you got to get a point where the damage is still good, but the HP is still decent as well. So yeah. Penny Lancaster's put my 5-star is Sludge, Primal, and Grim. Yeah, they don't level. Yeah, they are quite poor. Dirtbag. Yeah. Berserk's put they should do a quarterly rebalance, not just bug fixes. I have suggested this in the past, but the problem with that is if they did balance changes, bots would also get nerfed at the same time as buffed. And I think every time that I have suggested that, people have absolutely lost their minds, literally. So I don't think it's something that we can. It'll probably happen in this game, sadly. Action well, Skywatch needs his G1 improved and a 5-star. Exactly. That's exactly what I said. You know, why buff a bot that's a 4-star that's decent and good, and you should just give it something like a G1 core, make it a 5-star, and it's even better. You know, there's no need for it basically. Berserk knows Cone should tunnel under and bring a bot to a location. It's quite hard programming that one, really. Let's be honest. Dave Lawrence spot. I only have one 5-star so far. He's Is he good? He's okay. He's quite expensive. Again, just a cost decrease for Braun. Will make him really good. When I've had Holland, that's why the game is so freaking boring at the moment. Yeah. Keto, come home. I'm considering, brother. I am considering it, but I am enjoying the break. I'm not gonna lie. Van Holland, is HU 18 Phase 3 coming soon? This is something else that I've talked about as well. So when I sort of talking to the like about war effects, um, he said, "Listen, we're going to bring out war effects to make the game." And I'm sat here right now, and I don't know if it's easier or harder, and I can't make my mind up because what they're trying to do is they're trying to make it so that this is a bit of a long story. So we'll go back to I think it started with a bit of conversation in Playtest on my channel or whatever it was, and I was talking about buffs in segments, so maybe an 8 to 10 week buff, and I sort of suggested that we should buff a bot for that 8 to 10 weeks to encourage people to level it. I think most of Playtest, and self-confessed, I thought it was a good idea, but Playtest sort of said that, no one's really gonna from week one level the bot up really, really high to max it out for the next 6 weeks to use. I was like, you know what, you've got a point. That's a fair point. If you're going to do this, it needs to be for a few months. And then does it get a bit stale and a bit boring? So it's quite hard. But this goes back to an idea I had quite a while back. Whereas if you've got a certain bot, it sort of, you get that at a certain level. So if you have, say, 5-star top spin, whatever level he is, it gets a 5 level buff, say. Something like that. Just where he gets a buff. You don't have to spend money and level it. He just gets the buff for that time to encourage you to use him. Maybe not top spin, by example. Maybe Braun, someone else that probably needs a bit of a buff. And you can sort of give him that buff and sort of see how it works in the meta. And whether that would be a relevant buff into the game. Use it in Prime League. Use it in Cybertron. Whatever. Make it for all leagues. Who knows? But it's just an idea that I sort of had to buff all bots. And make them sort of relevant in the game. So Space Saber sort of took that idea, which I thought was a pretty good idea in a way. Maybe it's not really fully thought out within the timescales, and thought, right, okay, what we'll do is we'll give a class an improvement. Let's look at electric and give electric class an improvement. Now the problem with that is if you choose a whole class, Sea Spray and Bumblebee are used quite a bit right now in the game, and are quite, I wouldn't say OP, but are very, very, very good bots at the top level of the game. Now, if they buff all the electric class, all that's going to happen is everyone will use Sea Spray and B. They're not going to use anyone else with electric damage below that because they're not very good anyway. So why would you go from a not very good bot to a decent bot when you can use a pretty OP bot to make them very OP? And so I said this to Dale, that's not a good idea, buffing a whole class. But typical Space Ape, because they put so much effort into it, I think they're going to go ahead with it anyway. And started talking about war effects and making things hard. And I said, you do realise, Dale, that they've said that war participation is not where they want it to be. It's dropped. And I said, the problem isn't that war participation is because it's too hard. It's because there's not enough bots that are relevant. And so if you want to make some bots more relevant in wars, you need to go back and buff them individually. But then what they come out with is the 5 bots that I talked about a minute ago. Grimlock, Trailbreaker, Skydive. They're not going to make people all of a sudden a Prime League hard mode player. Those kind of bots, because they're so far away from the meta. So, I'm not too sure what Space Up are doing there in terms of these war buffs. And they're trying to make it harder by increasing the HP and DPS, which makes one-shots less relevant, which I'm not a fan of. But then they're also increasing the electrical damage. So that means you just spam Sea Spray and B. So they're sort of making 2 bots massively relevant and a lot of bots irrelevant. And I just don't get what they're trying to do. If they want to make wars harder, just bring out Phase 3. We know half of it is there already. Just bring out Phase 3. And if some of it is not ready yet, bring that out in a Phase 4. We've got, the Onyx core that is ready to balance. We had that about 9 months ago. And we considered it was really OP. And they got taken away, and we haven't seen it since. We had anti-acid and anti-fire cores for build bots, and at the time we said that it's not really fair because the Titans had anti-fire, and it was just sort of killing fire damage. And then they decided to take it away. We could easily bring that out as just anti-acid. We could do that. There's so many options to do other than war effects. And I just don't see. For me, a lot of these decisions make no sense at all. Space Ace seems to shift from one decision to the next, and they do a project. There's no thought process behind it. Do they want to make wars harder? Yes or no? If they do, then yeah, just do war effects. You don't need this buff in these classes. If they want to make more bots relevant, then look at individual bots and give them a buff, or give them a buff for a time even, or something like that. You don't have to buff a class. You know, and all this feedback is in playtest. All this feedback is there. And I'm just not sure on the direction they're going with the game. I'm baffled. And so for me, I've almost completely lost faith in Space Ape sort of running a good game and having a sense of direction and going, this is where we want to go. And it's just all over the show. And I'm absolutely baffled where it's going. And so that's sort of the reason why I'm sort of the way I'm about war, not even about wars, but about the game right now and about playtest, is that there's just no direction, just lacks some direction, just needs someone to take the ball by the horns and go, this is where we're going. And I've said to Dale that war participation is not down to difficulty, it's simply down to the fact that people, yes, the game has got more difficult, but the problem is now is that some people have to do 10 war attacks in a day. And if you're not coining your bot, which is most people, that's 10 hours in a day. People don't have 10 hours in a day to log in every hour. And going back to my video a long time ago about removing cooldowns from wars, said that a long time ago, and it's just sort of fell on deaf ears. And you know, and people said, you know, people will rage coin, or you know, flame out very quickly if they don't have cooldowns. Well, that's their choice. You know, people still have the same choice right now to coin the bot, but people need to take a bit of time. But at least you've got maybe a 5-hour window to complete them war attacks, and you could beat one base, fail on base 3, put the brakes on, stop, ask for some feedback, wait an hour or so, and then go at it again. But you're not waiting for your cooldown on base 1 and base 2. You can get through them bases faster. So for me, there's some easy options to make wars more viable. And I don't think they need to raise the difficulty anymore. I don't think they need to lower it. I think wars are probably where they need to be for Prime League hard mode. It's hard for me to sort of talk about gold and platinum and leagues like that because I don't want war in there. So it's very hard for me to say, is the difficulty where it needs to be? But if it's too difficult at them levels, then there's an answer there. They can increase the debuff. So for those that are not aware, in lower zones below Cybertron, the zones have a debuff where the HP of the buildings is actually lower than what the general HP is. So Cybertron is the sort of benchmark where all the HP is true, where it is what it is. Then at least below that, the HP is dropped. So, you know, there are some easy answers out there to make wars more viable, but I just don't think they want to do it. And that's true. Then our kid has put, I'm still optimistic for Blue Streak and Night Beat. Well. Let's have a look at some of the chat. See, Ron Van Holland, now you've got me going, you see. Penn Lancaster, would they fixing Grimmer also feel so bad for pulling him? Yeah, that's the idea, isn't it? No one should pull a 5-star. I'm disappointed. That's my dream. No, not every single bot in the game is going to be war relevant. I understand that. It's impossible to balance. But every bot should have a good use. You should, if you can't use wars, you should be able to level in Zen at least with Grimlock. At the very least. But you've also got to think about, it's Grimlock. You know, it's one of the main characters in the game. Grimlock, B, Prime, Megatron, you know, Soundwave, Starscream. These bots should be some of the best bots in the game. And yes, they are many years old, I get that. But, you know, we can revitalise them with G1s and Ability 11 and things like that. Can't be afraid of nerfs, and a rebalance is a chance to freshen up the game, but yeah, more focused on buffs. Yeah, I said this, Berserk. I said that same thing. So I said, I'm going to sneeze again, sorry guys. I've said again that what they should do is 3 buffs, 1 nerf. 3 buffs, 1 nerf. 3 buffs, 1 nerf. So the buffs always outshine the nerfs. And you're always going to have them people complaining about the nerfs. You will, sadly. But we know the bots will get the nerfs straight away. And as soon as they start nerfing the bots like Pipes, like Sea Spray, like Minerva maybe, as soon as they start nerfing them bots, people are like, what? What are you doing? Don't nerf that bot. But, you know, they're the kind of bots that are going to get it, sadly. Grind time. You sound horrible. I know. Sorry. Honestly, if I streamed last week, I probably wouldn't stream tonight. But I can't do 2 weeks in a row and miss it. So yeah. Yeah, Penny Lancaster. If they did a Braun cost decrease, I'd definitely be using him. Yeah, same. I'd probably level him. But yeah. Wells in there again. Just give everybody acid and everybody a shield. Job done. See Berserks, but who cares about war effects when war itself sucks? Maybe. Yeah. Oh. Berserk, do you think they will make ice and electricity combo? That's a dream. Maybe not. Penny Lancaster isn't Lop electric. I thought that, but no, he's actually not, apparently. EMP and electric is not the same thing, supposedly. So yeah, I learned something new there. What else? Mercenary Terror. Speed up and slow down is the meta I want to be relevant. I don't think it's the slow down and speed up that's not relevant. It's the bots they're on and what they do. I think that's a problem. Yeah, Berserk, but Lop isn't electric. It just has a stun. Yeah, exactly. John Hernandez, they are super late on the update with the course today. I've not seen them, but I couldn't say. But they have said they're coming quite soon. Jamie Carpenter, do you think buffing electric would make the Thesaurus relevant again? Is he electric though? Yeah, maybe. I actually like the Thesaurus with ability 11. I think he's actually quite OP. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that. But yeah. Berserk, at least Warbot cooldown shouldn't affect other modes. I just don't think it should affect Wars, full stop. They are really overdoing the bottlenecks. It makes the game less playable. Yes, 100%. 100% agree with that. Can I say 1,000%? 1,000%. There's far too many bottlenecks in the game. Far too many times that I log in, I'll do 6-7 battles and go, right, I'm going to go and sit down for a bit. I'll come back in an hour. You know. I go to play another game, and I can literally just play game after game after game after game after game. And I can spend 2 hours playing it. And it's great. It's nothing too strategic, really, in a way. But I'm enjoying that game. But it's you know, like I said, it's just you know, quick turnover. You want games can do that. And I spent a bit of money on that game as well because I like the game. So I'm buying characters and things like that. And people will, you know. Yeah, Raf Course, but I agree. I like the idea of every bot being useful depending on how we use them. Yeah. What else? Dave Lawrence, I'd like to see them change Soundwave's minions. Yes, so many cooler ones. Sadly, anything to do with animation, they're not going to change that. Sadly. Excuse me. Joy Trillo, how's it going? Cool. Right. Okay, here we are, guys. Let's have a look at the new bots, Blue Streak and Wild Rider. I actually had someone today say to me, is the new bot Dead End? I was like, Dead End's already in the game. And then someone said, is it Runabout? I was like, Runabout's already in the game. And then someone sort of did point out that obviously Wild Rider is kind of just a recast. And I get that, but it's the same character, but it's a different name. So I understand being a bit frustrated maybe if you're a con. But this is Blue Streak. So as you can see from the emblem, I'm sure some will be eagle-eyed. And yes, he is going to be a gunner. But the interesting fact is, he's actually going to be a sniper. Like As I say, dead end then. Not dead end, is it? No. It's gonna be a sniper like smokescreen, and who's smokescreen's alternative? And I've lost it. It's gone. But yeah, like smokescreen. So yeah, looking pretty cool. I like his animation as well. It's a bit of a glitch there. I'm sure they'll fix that. Breakneck. Yes, thank you. So yes, Blue Streak is going to be a sniper like Breakneck and like smokescreen. So yeah, it does look pretty cool. And then let's have a look at Wild Rider as well. And there is Wild Rider. There we go. Love Wild Rider. I actually had Minnesota as a kid. I had all Stunticons. And yeah, he's one of my favourites. Looked very, very cool. And yeah, really cool bot. I know there's a lot of talk about combiners and what they're going to do, and I'm not even too sure. But yeah, don't forget that Wild Rider was the original G1. So I'm not too sure. Are they going to bring out a G1 combiner as such and have a different. Or G2 combiners, but Wild Rider's not G2. So I don't know where they're going to go with it. But obviously they're doing something. Because we've had Slingshot and we've had Wild Rider. So we're getting these sort of combiner bots that are not combiner bots. So and I think it's, yeah, Groove as well instead of Rook. I think we'll see Groove at some point come out quite soon. So going to be interesting for sure where they go with it. But let's have a look at the ability. So at ability 10. So this is going to change because I don't think it's actually quite correct, but you get the idea. So a shot that deals 6,500 damage. So with a volatile mixture core, be able to take out a Billbot. And reduce the max health and speed by 30%. It's of one target, not nearby targets, guys, for one target. But each consecutive use of the ability increases the damage by 50%. So the first time you use it, it will do 6,500 damage. The second time you use it, it will do 10,000 damage. The third time you use it, it will do 13k damage, and then 13k damage every time after that. So I really like the concept of this bot. It's something different. And how I was using this bot was I was taking out a build bot, then taking out a defense, then taking out something like the MDS or something. And going bang, 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 and taking all three out. And I think it's really, really clever and something innovative. And I really do like this bot at the minute. There is some balancing around the cost. It was 5 plus 0, but I got a bit spammy. It was quite OP. Now it's 5 plus 2. And people are saying that it's a bit costly. You know, 5, 7, and 9. But it really is cool. And then looking at the ability 11. So this one, a shot that deals 6,782 damage to the main target, and a quarter of that damage to nearby ones. So it will do 6k to target, and will do about 2.5k, 2,700 in an area around that. Then it will do 10k and 2.5k in damage around that. And then it will do 13k and will do around 3.5k damage around that. Reducing the max health and speed by 30% for the rest of the battle in an area. So that's where the area part comes in. On the ability 1 to 10, it's just to a single target, but the ability 11 adds an AoE to it, which is pretty cool as well. So, yeah, in testing, I think it's good, the damage-wise. I think the damage-wise, I think it's there or thereabouts. I think cost-wise, it could be reduced, it could be changed. That's where the balancing will come in. But quite excited for the bot, I'm honest with you. Looking to be one of the better bots for quite a while. And yeah, we'll wait and see to see how it comes. I'm not going to show it in game yet because, like I said, there's still a bit of balancing, but we'll show him in game next week for sure. So looking forward to Blue Streak and Wild Rider coming to the game. Then I'll get how do I feel about Blue Streak making his appearance in Earth Wars. Any G1 character I'm super pleased about, but the one character for me that I can't wait to see is Beachcomber. Love Beachcomber. One of my favourite toys as a kid. Really enjoyed it. I love the Golden Lagoon episode. And so Beachcomber for me is that bot. Cannot wait for him. So Wild Ride is going to be like his alt name Breakneck. Well, yeah, it kind of makes sense, doesn't it, I suppose, but yeah. What else? Then our kid, now they need to bring in Nightbeat and Groove. Yeah. Wolves, interesting. It is interesting. It's something different, which I've been asking for a while. So I'm quite impressed by that. Wolves, costly, yeah, but not really for what it could do. Yeah. Penny Lancaster, why isn't the cost the same as Smokescreen? Because it does a lot more damage when you compare it to Smokescreen. So you've got to balance the cost with the damage. So when you look at Smokescreen, who does 3k, 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 when this bot does 10k, you cannot have a bot doing 10k damage for 3 ability points. It's not going to happen. That's why it's a cost, increase along with the damage increase. Dave Lawrence, need Weird Wolf in game. I've said this, Headmasters as well. I would love Headmasters in the game. Yeah, Squat Talk and Beast Box and things like that, yeah. Bots like that, yeah. What's the range on the SA? Tony B will look at the actual ability next week when I know it's a bit more finalised. But considerable. That's what I'll say for now. The ability range is considerable. Stay Puff, no chance he's going to wear out when released. Going to be all sorts of bugged. He's already quite bugged at the minute. And honestly, I'm a bit reluctant because I've said I want to stay out of playtest completely, but obviously I playtest these bots myself. And I'm trying to stay out of playtest completely because I'm completely frustrated by it. And since I've been out, every time I come out of it, I don't want this to come across quite bad, but every time I come out of it, I feel refreshed and I feel like I think to myself, I don't need to be in there. I just need to know when the bot's sort of finalised, and I'm going to leave them to it. I want to come out of there. And then sometimes I see some comments, and I'm like, oh my god, like, I don't know. I don't want some playtesters to see me personally. I'm baffled by it. And then I start getting frustrated and go, right, I need to put this in the chat. Because they'll go like, I'll see some things like, this bot's good to go. And then I'll go in there and I'm like, this bot's not even working. What are you talking about? It's not doing damage it should. I don't know, check the numbers. And everything sort of goes quiet. I'm like, no one's checked the numbers yet. It's not good to go. And that's happened a couple of times. Things like that where someone will say something in a playtest and it's not true at all. And then I start to get frustrated. And think, I need to be in there. Someone needs to be in there testing numbers. And there's a few of us, to be fair, that do. But then there's some people that don't test the numbers at all and don't really look at what it's doing. And that's when I get frustrated. So part of me thinks that I need to be in playtest. Some part of me thinks I don't need to be in there. Part of me wants to be in playtest. Part of me doesn't want to be in playtest. So that's where my biggest frustration is at the minute, is playtest. But sad as it is. What else? Did they kill Groove in Game Store? Yeah, I think they did actually, didn't they? Yeah, I think they killed him. But then Retgar can bring him back to life, so there's always that. As we know in Transformers, no bot is ever dead, really, because Optimus Prime came back 5 times, so. Penny Lancaster, can you imagine using Blue Streak and Robust together on the HQ? Not at higher levels, no. No, not at all. Don't forget the absolutely kill ability damage. I haven't got it there then, but if you look in the on the wiki, like it's just like a minute amount of damage. Is the HQ targetable with ability? Let's be honest, if it is, even if it is, they'll stop that in a heartbeat, so I wouldn't rely on that. Nemesis Enforcer, Sunstorm, yeah, a big one as well. Yeah, I like all the cone heads and all the Cybertron jets. That were pretty cool. So it needs to hire Wozza to be content manager of all in-game characters and effects. I wouldn't go that far. Grand time. Chris Harmon, what do you think the next combiner will be? Oh, I think that they've exhausted most of them now. They can't do that train combiner. They can't. They can't bring out train after train after train after train. That's when I know that they've run out of ideas. So I'm hoping that these G1 or G2 combiners, because of Wild Rider and because of Slingshot, I imagine there's something with combiners. Is it kicking the teeth that they're going to be a new combiner? How will they get the old bots? I'm a bit baffled how they're going to work it. But time will tell. Not too sure. Deluxe Insecticons. Maybe. SSW needs to be hired at SA. I don't think that'll ever happen. I don't think I'm liked enough at SA to be hired by them, sadly. And I don't think they'll pay me enough. I don't think they could pay me enough what my current job pays. Let's just say that much. I'm having bets on my idea of Sensius Nobilis 2.0 as a combiner to settle on which Sensius twin will use a sword of balance. Maybe. There's still plenty of combiners could use, like we talked about, Squat Box and the likes of that. But not really combiners as such, but it's just two bots combined together. They could do bits like that. We've got Magna Boss, which is 3. But yeah. Penny Lancaster, would SA be paying you to make friends or do a job though? They still don't pay me enough. Fireflies, but would Ratchet make a good combiner? Ratchet? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Let's explain that a bit more. Joseph Cirillo, maybe they should make combat bot combiners. Is that such a thing though? Because it's more like, is there a toy, that you've got to look at toy releases from Hasbro, because Hasbro have a massive say in it. So you really need to look at what releases have come out toys wise. That's why we knew that the new Titans would be Nemesis and the Ark. We knew that because that's the new releases, But yeah. Firefly, like a healer ability. Well, you've got Magnabus, I presume. There's a healing ability. So, yeah, I think like, having a healing ability would still be pretty cool on like a combiner regardless. Michael Masters, yeah. Mini cons, yeah, there's loads of different options. I think we kind of got that with combat bots in a way. I think that's their idea, but there's so many more things they could do, like headmasters. They said they haven't got the tech for it, but oh my god, how cool would headmasters be? So cool. I could, if they brought out headmasters, I would literally just sit, just doing this. I would sit just going like this. Watch transform, head comes off, transforms, cool, and then watch it again. I would literally just watch it on repeat. I love Headmasters. Everyone that's watched my channel for quite a while knows I love Headmasters. Probably my favourite episode is the Rebirth. I know a lot of Transformers fans hate it, but I loved it. What's not to like about something? I like new, innovative stuff, some good ideas, and what's not to like about Headmasters and about Fortress Maximus and Scorponok. Some of the best characters in the game, in my opinion. Best characters in Transformers. The bigger and better they go, the better. And yeah, I love the Rebirth. I love Headmasters. Yeah, Penny Lancaster's put I have Brainstorm, Chrome Dome, and Hardhead. Yeah, I've got Hardhead. I just sent. It's a funny story. I actually had Brainstorm delivered to Grind Time actually for a wedding present. So yeah. So I haven't got Brainstorm, but Grind Time has. So yeah. It's quite a funny story. So he was chasing Brainstorm at the time and trying to get him, and he couldn't get him. And so I sent him a Brainstorm in the post and said, something you've been trying to get for a while. Yeah, Chrome Dome as well. There's so many bots that they could do. Mind Wipe, yeah. They already have Mind Wipe, but it's not a Headmaster though. They could bring up. Listen, they've got like shattered glass. So why not bring out Headmaster Mind Wipe? They could do that, couldn't they? HD Mind Wipe. You know, why not? So yeah, there's a lot of things that they could do. A lot of things probably coming soon, but yeah. Cool. Well, I think I'm going to leave it there, guys. I'll get a bit of an early night and maybe have a bit of a rest and try and get rid of this flu. So, thank you everyone for tuning in, guys. Really appreciate it. I hope you like the new bots, what you've seen. I'm quite impressed with them at the minute. It's one thing from Playtest that I've been quite happy with out of everything. But yeah, we'll be here again next week. And hopefully we can show Blue Streak and show Wild Rider their abilities. So it's going to be quite exciting. So yeah, see you next week, guys. Thanks for tuning in. And as always, guys, peace out.